Hi everyone from wet and rainy Greenway Avenue Stadium. TCI Cablevision of Maryland Channel 14 is proud once again to present high school football, the game tonight featuring the undefeated Allegheny Campers against the Jefferson County Cougars coming in here at 4-3. I'm Chuck Lehman along with Mark Widmeyer. Glad to have you with us. And as we mentioned, it is raining. The field is very much saturated with water, particularly right in the center of the field. There's a big water area, and then from the school side of the 40-yard line down inside the 25, it looks like an extension of the C&O Canal.
Exactly right, or the Potomac River or something, because I walked out there, came across the field right before this, when we were coming up here, and there's water laying there on that field 2 and 3 inches deep, and on out right at the 50-yard line, about the 45, between the two 40-yard lines, right in the center of the field. It is.
There's a good shot of it right there.
It's just where you see the real light spot there in the middle. That's nothing but water, and the rest of the field right up the middle is extremely muddy. The sidelines hash mark to hash mark. It's still wet, but there is footing there, so you're going to see probably a lot of running tonight, Chuck. A lot of attempt to control the ball and attempt not to fumble the ball, because fumbles could be quite prevalent tonight, because the ball has got to be laid down on the ground, and as soon as they lay it down, it's going to pick up mud, and that's what usually causes fumbles.
So we're in pretty much the same type of weather condition we had here a couple of weeks ago when Allegheny played McNamara. It's just a drenched football field, and I don't know any other words that you could use to describe it.
Well, there aren't. Let's face it. It's just like it looks like about 3 inches of mud stacked up out there, and it's just going to be which of these two teams can get themselves physically and mentally prepared to play and on this type of field. Of course, 3 weeks ago, Allegheny got some practice, but still in all, you got to come out here and get your mental attitude prepared. In other words, to play in the rain, but then to play in the mud. And that's really one of the keys to the game. And talking to Jack a little bit before the game, that's what they've got to look at. He and Toby said, we got to get them mentally prepared, for this. And I really don't think they're going to have any problem, because both of these teams are coming in here. I think they're going to be ready to play football, and I think they're going to be mentally ready. So.
Well, I think so too, because I can remember last year on the rare Friday night that we didn't have a game here at the stadium, I journeyed down to Junction and watched that decimation of the Allegheny Campers last year on a 46-12 loss. And it has to be one of the, for lack of a better word, one of the worst games I've ever seen an Allegheny high school team play. So I'm sure that that's in the back of their mind, and right now they're riding a very hot streak. They're 6-0. They're just running over everybody. Plus they're now the second-ranked team, I think, statewide in Class AA. They're in the #1 spot in Region 1. So this is an extremely big game. There's a lot of points out there as far as this state playoff system, the way it works. They could get 12 points for this game if they win. And that, again, is going to boost them up a little bit higher in the standings. So a lot riding on this ball game. The Cougars at 4-3, a little disappointed, I think. Probably they had a lot of high hopes for this team. They had an excellent team down there last year. Troy Wilt was an extremely fine quarterback, and they had a couple of great pass receivers. One of them who's back, but it's kind of like in the doghouse, isn't he, Mark?
Well, I think a little bit. They indicated, first part of the week I got a chance to stop down that way, and I asked him again tonight, and he said he's not going to start Jet. Of course, Jet's the guy that everybody around here first thinks of. And it's like I asked him, I said, well, last year was a guy named Stanton everybody liked to think about. And he said, yes, and Stanton's having a great year this year at Shepherd. He's getting a lot of playing time. And Wilt, the other guy you mentioned, is having an experiencing year at Kentucky.
So he went big time.
He went big time. So, out of this program last year came 2 or 3 excellent football players. They lost them to graduation. But he felt he had a nucleus coming back, and they've just been a little bit disappointed. They've lost 3 games. They lost, of course, to Martinsburg, which was a disaster, is what he called it. They also lost to Fort Hill, and they lost to a school down in Virginia called Loudon Valley, which is an excellent program. But Jefferson is the 8th largest high school in the state of West Virginia. People kind of forget about that, because they think about, they're from down around Charlestown and in that area, and you don't think of a lot of people, but they combined 3 high schools down there a couple of years back and made one, and right now it's the 8th largest school in the state of West Virginia. So they do pack a lot of points when you can play them and beat them.
Okay, so the Campers coming in a little bit nicked and beat up somewhat from the big game last week in Morgantown. Thad Michael will not start. I doubt very seriously if he'll even play. He hurt his shoulder last week, and a couple people asked me, well, how can he hurt his shoulder? Well, when you watch Thad run, he runs so low to the ground that his shoulders are out there, and he's going to come in contact with any would-be tackler's knees. Really, and the thigh part, and that's where the injury has come in, I believe.
Well, I made reference a couple times, he runs like a turtle because his head sticks out, and that's the first thing. His head and shoulders are the first thing to hit anybody, and he's taken a couple of good shots there, and they're going to let him rest tonight. They just think the rest, I think, will do him good. Other than that, you know, there are a couple of nicks and bruises, but they're in pretty good shape. Sly Logston is back. He practiced this week. He's not going to play tonight. He's coming back off of a broken hand and a very, very badly sprained ankle, but, you know, he's a kid that really wants to play, but I don't think he'll see any action tonight.
Okay, so as you see, the sparse crowd here at the moment as the rain continues to pour, so we're just hoping for a little bit of a clearing thing here later on in the evening where we won't have this rain to contend with. The field is not going to change. The condition out there is not going to get any better regardless of what happens. So we'll be back right after this commercial break for the opening kickoff of tonight's football game. This is City High School football coming to you on TCI's Channel 14. Before we actually get into this football game, we do have a sad note that we want to pass along our condolences. Mark?
Yesterday afternoon, Allegheny High School, Allegheny fans, the football team, the faculty at Allegheny High School lost a very dear friend, Nadine Schober, who has been at Allegheny for practically 20 years up in the cafeteria. She started out as the head cook. She, in the past years, has been the manager of the cafeteria, passed away very unexpectedly yesterday afternoon. She is a lady that is, I'm going to term her a great lady because I've known Nadine for quite a few years. She's been quite a supporter of all the athletic programs, all the activities at the school. She attended football games, basketball games, band concerts, just anything that went on. Nadine was there. Nadine was a friend to just every athlete, and more especially to the coaching staff of the football team and these young men that are out here tonight. And they all dearly loved her and respected her. And it's with really sadness that we want to express our sympathy not only to the family but to the many friends that Nadine had. And these young men are coming out here tonight with one more thought on their mind, and they're, I think, thinking quite a bit about a lady that they've known for all their high school career. And I'm sure that their thoughts about Nadine are with them tonight. And we just wish, like I say, the family and everyone, we'd like to express our sincere expression of sympathy and just hope that you know, we can all come out of this and maybe be better people for it, just for having known Nadine.
Okay, so the captains are meeting at the center of the field. Jefferson will be receiving. The captains are number 72, T.L. Whitaker, Andy Bartlow, number 60, number 44, Cookie Bunny, and number 23, Tony Pearson. For the Campers, I was number 17, Sean Rickert. Number 62, I believe, was Scott Piper. And I'm sorry I missed the other one while we were going through the condolences for Mrs. Schober. She will be sorely missed. So for what it's worth, Mark, let's dedicate this broadcast in her memory.
I'm all for that because she, like I said, I've known her a long time, and she was just a great lady. She once told me that when Jim Rafosco came there during his tenure, she cooked more spaghetti than she'd ever cooked in her life. But she's a woman that goes in and she'll go in and do special meals for the team, or she used to do the meals for the teams. Whenever a coach requests something, she was right there. And another member of the family who has been a part of Allegheny's football program for many years, Rick Schober, has always been on the sidelines. He's the guy that takes the stats. He walks up and down the field, and he just writes down figures. He never gets to watch the game. And, of course, he's not here this evening, and he is also another member that will be sorely missed this evening.
So we're ready to kick off as Randy Wolford tees up. Very short kick. Handled at the 26-yard line. And it's taken there by number 44, Cookie Bunny, as he crosses the 30 to about the 33-yard line. The officials for the ball game tonight, the referee is Bill Powell. The umpire is John Amon. Chuck Hines is the head linesman, Greg Fansler the line judge, and Eric Harper the back judge. So it's 1st and 10 for Jefferson at their own 35-yard line.
I'll tell you, that kickoff is just typical. That's all you can do. Is not, you can't run up on the ball, because sure as you do, you're going to fall flat on your behind. So that's about all that Wolford could do to get that kickoff.
So Cookie Bunny and Tony Pearson in the backfield behind Runyon. And it hands to Pearson, and he's going down the sideline, stopped by Rickard, but he's down to the Campers' 36-yard line.
This, of course, is a big concern of Allegheny. They knew that the capabilities of Tony Pearson, and this is the one running back that scares him the most, is the fact that he can get outside or break loose up through the middle, the kind of havoc that he can cause, and you just saw it right there.
So as we said, the quarterback is Tim Runyon. Spread out wide to the right side is Brian Whittington and Kevin Steen on a 1st and 10 from the Camper 36. Now we got a movement by the left tackle, number 66. That'll cost the Cougars 5 yards.
He just decided he couldn't hear, I guess, the rain pounding on his head. He thought the hut sign had given, so he took off.
Saying that first play, Mark, the offensive line of the Cougars did a great job of sealing off the defensive end and the linebacker on that side, and Pearson just streaking down the sideline.
He had clear sail until he got to Ricker, and that was it. Ricker hadn't tackled him. We'd have been shooting an extra point about now.
So I formation. Runyon the quarterback. The fullback is number 44, Cookie Bunny, and the tailback is Tony Pearson on a 1st and 15. The pitch to Pearson. This time he's trying to go wide right. And it was played fumble. I think the Campers have it. They do.
That's going to be, as we pointed out, Chuck, going to be one of the big problems tonight is the fumble, hanging on to the ball. And I think it was Wolford that came up with that fumble.
All right, unofficially we'll credit Randy Wolford with the fumble recovery.
That ball picks up that mud, and there's just no way you can keep the ball dry or keep it not from getting too slick, because once they lay her down on the dirt, it's going to start picking up mud.
So from the Camper, from their own 43, good field position to start on the turnover. Comes Terry Ashby, and Ashby gets across midfield to the 47 or 48-yard line. He's going to be very close to a first down. So the Campers will line up offensively with Scott Bauer at quarterback. The running backs, as the officials are going to come in here for a measurement, the running backs will be Greg Harper, number 30, number 44, Terry Ashby, and I believe number 33, Cassidy, will be in at the fullback slot, replacing the injured Thad Michael. At the ends will be Sean Ricker, number 17. At the other end, Brian Miller, number 14. Inside will be number 51, Joe Wolf at center. The tackles, Randy Wolford, and right now number 74, Marshall Oates. The guards will be alternating, running into plays, Mike Lauk, Shannon Stevens, and David Klein. So here we go, a 2nd down and inches.
Okay, that was a good run by Ashby. He just put his head down. He come through the hole after receiving the handoff and just put his head down and went straight forward.
Cassidy, the fullback, nice hole. And he's down inside the 15-yard line. A fine run by number 33, David Cassidy.
Untouched, Chuck, through the line of scrimmage, and that's what you want out of your fullback. He come through the line of scrimmage untouched, he's going to get a lot of yards.
And I'll tell you, it was number, I think it was, I thought it was the number 25 that ran him down, Scott Bradford.
Well, if he hadn't run him down.
So it's 1st and 10 at the Jefferson 16-yard line. Harper is a wing on the right side. There goes Cassidy down near the 10. I think I'll mark it at about the 11, a 3-yard pickup.
Well, this is the kind of football you're probably going to see the majority of the night from Allegheny. Of course, their wing tee is geared around the fullback generally, but this year Allegany's been able to do a lot of things with a lot of different people, but with the conditions of the field tonight and the continuing rain, you're going to see the fullback handle the ball quite a bit.
And you're going to see him mostly running to the right side behind Mike Lauk and Randy Wolford. Sean Ricker, the end on that side also, on a 2nd down and 7. Now there he goes off the left side. And he's down inside the No, he's not in. Yeah, he's down to the 1 yard line.
Went to the 1 and slid about 4 yards into the end zone.
So we talked about him running off the right side. This time he runs behind Shannon Stevens and number 74, Marshall Oates.
Of course, we talk about it, and that's what Jefferson keeps thinking, and that kind of opens up the other side because you got Oates and Stevens on the other side. You know, let's tell you, mister, they ain't no slouch.
No, they aren't. They got Marshall listed here at 6 foot 220, and Stevens at 6'2", 205. That's two pretty big offensive linemen. So it's first and goal from the 2. The fullback, is he in? He is in for the touchdown. Cassidy from 2 yards out.
I'll tell you, Chuck, something that I see here, I'm not reading anything into it, but I see Allegany's offensive line that time totally dominated the defensive line, and it comes back to what we talked about before the game. You've got to be mentally ready to play not only this game, but these conditions, and I think these kids are.
Well, I'll tell you, they really did a great job on this series of just blowing, actually, the defensive line off the line of scrimmage. So Randy Wolford to attempt the extra point out of a hold from Brian Miller. The kick is up, and it's good.
He kicked that out of a lake. He set that ball down right in a puddle of water. This is the kind of night, Chuck, when you get tackled, the officials are going to react a little bit quicker, because if you're laying on the bottom of Powell, you could drown before they get you up in parts of this field.
You certainly could. So on the turnover, the fumble recovery that we credited until we find out different from Randy Wolford, and the Campers go 57 yards for the touchdown, culminated by Cassidy's 2-yard run. Randy Wolford kicked the extra point, and that's where we are. The Campers 7, the Cougars nothing.
Another theory behind probably the kickoff to start the game, where Wolford, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to probably take about a 2-step, well, we'll have to wait and see. But you're not kicking the ball deep. Taking a 3-step drop just to kick the ball, that keeps it out of a guy over on the left-hand side, number 1, Mr. Jet. In fact, he's definitely kicking the ball away from Jet.
Okay, it's handled by one of the linemen at the 23-yard line. And it's taken there by number 60,
Andy Barlow.
Andy Barlow.
Andy had to change the uniform, so we had to kind of check it twice.
So again, it's good field position, Mark. At the 30, well, they're going to start the same place they did last time, the 35. So first and 10 for the Cougars.
Of course, the last time they had the ball, Chuck, first down, they pick up about 15 or 20 yards on the first play.
Well, they certainly did it was down to about, what, the 31 or 32-yard line.
Right.
So they picked up 33 yards on a run by Pearson. Now a little hand to the fullback, Cookie Bunny, and he actually loses about a half yard. Stacked up down there in the bottom of that pile is Shannon Stevens, number 66.
Shannon Stevens, also David Klein.
Two pretty good linebackers.
Quite a combination, I tell you, and they just work so well together.
So they stack up defensively with Shane Denninger at left end, Lance Lawyer at left tackle. On the nose is number 55, Harry Riggleman. Randy Wolford is the defensive left tackle. There's a handoff to Pearson. Nice job. Good defense. Again, Stevens on the bottom, along with number 33, David Cassidy, who is playing the defensive left end. So you have Stevens and Klein as linebackers. In the backfield, number 14, Brian Miller. Number 15 is Jeff Keys. Number 17 is Sean Rickard. And number 21 out there getting his second start in a row, Darren Beachy on that left corner. So 3rd and 11. Turning back to pass. And broken up. Nice job by Brian Miller. I'm telling you, I watched that boy last week up in Morgantown, and he played as good a game as a defensive halfback of any high school kid I have ever seen. He was just totally amazing. And there again, he's covering that man like a blanket, and no way he's going to catch that ball.
Well, he's right where he had to be. He stuck a hand in, just knocked it right out of his hand. So they call Brian to do that kind of stuff, and he's been able to answer the bell this year.
Punting situation, there's a flag on the play, and Harper signals for a fair catch. And the Cougars are going to recover But see what the flag is.
Well, that could, I don't know that that's a fumble or a muff.
That's a muff, you know, but it's still
a live ball.
It's a live ball. So we'll see what the call is. Illegal procedure against the Cougars, so that's a great break for the Campers.
Even on the fair catch that time, Harper had trouble. You're looking up in, you got rain hitting you in the eyeballs. It's just a very difficult night, not only to pass the ball, but the kicking game is really going to suffer.
So it's the penalty against the Cougars because they had it at the Camper 34-yard line on the muff punt. So that'll cost them 5 yards. They'll have to kick it again. And their punter is Jim Chrisman, number 92, back deep, are Brian Miller, and number 30, Harper. Greg Harper.
I'm sure Jack and the coaches all say just, you know, catch the ball, get to it and catch the ball or get away from it. Especially
Low
tonight.
snap, but again, a nice kick. Miller at the 41, and he's snowed under at the 43. But again, no, he's actually snowed under at the 47 or 48-yard line. Again, great field position for the Campers.
See what the Cougars now have been able to do to solve really the holes in their defensive line. Of course, they were created by some great offensive work by Allegany's offensive line.
So we'll see if the Campers can do it again. 1st and 10 from their own 48. Little bootleg for
Got Ricker.
Ricker. It should be a first down. Tell you, guy's got a great pair of hands. He really has a great pair of hands.
And tonight's even more difficult, Chuck, because not only are his hands are wet, but the ball's got to be wet. So the passing game, I mean, if they work a passing game tonight, they are really, really working hard at it because it's something that has to be just about perfect.
Well, you also have to worry about slipping and sliding out there and getting your pass pattern run. It has to be difficult.
Of course, the defender's got the toughest job.
Yeah, because the offensive player knows where he's going.
Sometimes.
Okay, here's Harper. Short yardage. Down to the 40. Pick up a couple.
Tackled by Andy Barlow that time. Andy's kind of the quarterback on defense. He'll be calling all the defensive signals, and being a senior, 5'8", 175 pound, he's the guy that they look to out of his linebacker spot to be the leader on that team. We're at 5:48. The clock's running here in the first quarter. Allegheny 7, Jefferson nothing.
Harper is a wing on the right side. Cassidy, the fullback. Big hole once again. And once again, they got a flag. I believe that's going to be a face mask.
There's only one thing that could have been.
Number 19 on the stop, Kevin Steen, but we're going to get a few yards tacked onto this, I believe. Again, great blocking by that Camper line, allowing the fullback Cassidy to get wide open down the middle.
I'll tell you what, if Cassidy had your speed, Chuck, he'd have had 2 touchdowns tonight.
So the spot is at the 11, so we're going to get a half the distance penalty. Into the 5.5-yard line, it's going to be 1st and goal for the Campers.
But I'm going to tell you, mister, that hole that's opened up for Mr. Cassidy, he's got to go up and thank 2 guys right now. One of them, number 71, and the other one's Mike Lauk.
Yeah, so they're doing just a great job.
Wolford and Lauk, that time, we just got a hole there that it's guy there's got an umbrella about as big as my backyard. He could have taken that umbrella right through that hole.
So from, we'll call it the 6-yard line. It's 1st and goal. Going off the left side this time. And a good job by number 60 as he's submarined underneath.
Andy Barlow.
Andy Barlow. So actually no gain on the play. 2nd down. Now they give him a half yard. We're going to call it 2nd and 5.
Like I say, defensively, Barlow's the guy they look to, and he's a senior and the linebacker, and he's the guy that's going to get her done.
So Ashby will split out as a wing on the left side. There comes Cassidy, and he's stacked up once again by about 5 white shirts. And down on the bottom of that pile is number 66, Brian Turpin.
Number 66, along with Kidrick. Number 70 also in there with about 4 or 5 other guys piled on after the initial stop was made, but those are the 2 you got to give the most credit to.
All right, so we're still at the 5-yard line. It's 3rd and goal. Harper a wing to the right side.
See, the middle is wide open.
There's Cassidy, and he's down to the 1. Maybe the 2, flag on the play. And I believe it's going to be against the Cougars.
It's got to be all
encroachment. So that takes them into the 2.5, and they still get the down back. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2.5.
I'll tell you, I made the statement the middle was wide open, and it is wide open, but you've got the problem down here. You might have a quick hole, but the back coming out of the backfield's got a little problem of getting started. So.
Plus, and it also gives the defensive halfbacks an opportunity, the safeties, to close in. So it's 3rd down and goal inside the 3.
Of course, the 8-man packed on a goal line defense, 8 men right on.
And there's the quarterback keeper, and he's in. Bauer's in from, well, we're going to give it 2 yards out.
Bauer's so skinny, he was able to just knife his way right in there without almost any problem. He doesn't carry a lot of weight, but he's thin. He's able to just knife his way right into the end zone from 2 yards out.
It looked like they had him stacked up there a little bit, but he was able to sneak his way in there.
He rolled off like a butter rolls off a knife, or a knife rolls off a butter. Here we are in the mud puddle again.
So Wolford will attempt the extra point. It's down. It's up. No good. So it's 13-0. The Campers lead the Jefferson County Cougars. And this is City High School football coming to you on TCI's Channel 14.
Howdy, partner. I'm Dave Summerfield. Here's some fast talk about the best new burgers in town. They're Roy Rogers Express burgers, all dressed up and ready to go. Get an express with cheese, or an express with bacon and cheese. Let Roy's fix your quarter-pound burger with lettuce, tomatoes, crunchy pickles, onions, ketchup, and mayo. If you live life in the fast lane, head to Roy's, downtown Cumberland, or the Country Club Mall, and catch the new Express burger, the best new burger in town.
All right, the Campers able to go 52 yards that time with the ground attack, with the exception of one play. It was an 11-yard pass to Sean Rickert. So in 2 possessions from their own 43, they go into score, and this time from their own 48.
Here again, you're going to see the same kind of a kickoff. Of course, Jefferson, all they do is they're moving their back people up a little further. They're hoping to get the ball in the hands of, somebody like Jet.
Again, it's a short kick. And it rolls out of bounds, so it'll probably take it back and re-kick it.
Coming down the sideline there, one of the Campers got knocked down, but he's back up.
I think it was Beachy.
Gives us an opportunity while they're resetting the ball, Chuck, to remind people that this presentation of area high school football on TCI Cablevision of Maryland's Channel 14 is being brought to you by Spurl's Pontiac and Cadillac, Route 36 at Motor City. Come ride the excitement of Pontiac and experience the luxury of Cadillac, the house that service built, Spurl's Pontiac and Cadillac. And also by the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cumberland. Diet Pepsi decisively beat Diet Coke in a taste test. It's the choice of the new generation and the choice of Cumberland area sports fans.
So the ball was teed up now at the 35.
Wolford's going to get a little longer run at it this time.
And we got an offsides this time against the Campers. So it's going to take them back 5 more yards. So that should give
it's a tough night for everybody, Chuck.
The Cougars real good field position, because Wolford now is going to kick from the 25-yard line.
Oh, kick it from the 30.
The
so far, he hasn't been kicking the ball real far due to the conditions. So the Cougars have got to come out. It was great field position.
Well,
Or Allegheny could recover an onside kick here, one of the two.
their deepest man is only standing at the 20-yard line. Jet
Right
at
in
the
the
30.
Right in the pond.
And a nice job by Shannon Stevens, who tripped him up. Then he was covered by, let's see, who by Cassidy and also by Todd Berrig, but Stevens was the one who tripped him up. So the Cougars will put it in play at their own 39-yard line.
It's still the big mystery. We don't see Jet in on the offensive scheme, and we're at 3:35 go here in the first quarter. Allegheny ahead 13-0.
Runyon, the quarterback. He's going back to pass and hits number 23, Pearson, but he can't hang on to it. It would have been about a 2-yard gain, but it goes incomplete. Second down and 10.
And I'll tell you, Runyon won't throw another pass for at least an hour because his arm has to be soaking wet because Wolford knocked him right into
the mud puddle.
the mud puddle.
All right, checking in is number 25, Scott Bradford, with a play from the bench. And we're going to have double wideouts on the right side. Bradford, along with Brian Whittington in the slot. I formation. Pearson and Cookie Bunny behind Runyon as Pearson goes in motion. They're going to flood the right side.
Flood, what a term.
And Stevens after him, and the pass is no good. Flag on the play. I don't know whether Stevens is going to be flagged for a late hit or what, but anyhow, there is a flag. The pass is incomplete. And Stevens is having to be restrained a bit.
Well, right in front of everybody, it's pretty obvious what the call is going to be.
It's roughing the passer. So that's a 15-yard penalty. First down, it'll put it in camper territory.
That happens to you. That'll turn your intensity up about 4 notches.
So it is a personal foul, roughing the passer against the Campers, that will set the Cougars up with a 1st and 10 from the Allegheny 46. So again, the double wideouts to the right side. This time it's Kevin Steen along with Brian Whittington.
Of course, I said Runyon wouldn't throw another pass, and what to do the next play he throws one, or attempts to throw one.
And he's going back to pass, trying to set up a screen. And Pearson has it, and I think he tripped over his own feet, really. Stevens had a shot at him. But the pickup will be about 5 yards. Now again, good pressure was put on the quarterback by David Klein, number 60.
Well,
that's what he wanted to do.
That's 80% of pass defense. If you don't pressure the quarterback, there's nothing your halfbacks and your safeties can do.
Actually, the gain is about 6 yards. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 4. Again, double wideouts to the right side.
Jefferson's kind of scrapped their running game here for a little while. They decided they're going to throw the ball.
They hand off to Pearson. Nice hole by number 73 on the stop, Ray Hilton. But it's a 1st down carry for the Cougars.
Hey, Ray Hilton got a hold of an ankle that time, just held on, but he got a little help. We're at 2:22 to go here in the first quarter. Of course, Jefferson got the ball. They're driving the ball with the aid of a much-hated 15-yard personal foul penalty.
And then Lance Lawyer checks into the lineup. No, Marshall Oates checks in, replacing Lance Lawyer. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Pearson, nice tackle by Randy Wolford.
Wolford that time stepped right up through the hole and just down the line of scrimmage and grabbed him by the ankles.
So a very
Good
short
lateral
game.
speed that time,
Yes,
Chuck,
it was.
on Wolford's part.
And number 44, Cookie Bunny, was leading the blocking through that hole. David Klein stacked him up, which And then Wolford came along parallel the line of scrimmage and stopped the ball carrier for no gain. 2nd down and 10. You got a little equipment problem here.
Little equipment time. Of course, last year, Chuck, we got to see this outfit against Fort Hill, and your favorite player was that Cookie Bunny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great name.
Cookie Bunny. All right, running back to pass. And it's complete. Down to the 15-yard line.
Well, here again, Chuck, you run into what I said. You know, those safety or the defensive halfbacks can only do so much for so long. If you don't contain the quarterback and don't get a good rush on him, you give him time, he's going to be able to pick the defensive secondary apart, which is what happened that time, and he gains time with his rollout tactic.
So it's 1st and 10 at the Camper 14-yard line. Again, double wideouts to the right side, I formation. Pearson, the ball carrier, and he's bouncing off of people, gets inside the 10 near the 8-yard line. Good strong run by Tony Pearson.
Well, he got hit right at the line of scrimmage, but he didn't quit driving the feet and picking up the knees and just kept on driving and was able to pick up about 5 yards.
Actually, Mark, I think they give him about 6. That makes 2nd down and 4 as wide left is Bradford. Wide right is Whittington. 2nd and 4. There's Pearson. He's stacked up. Lost a couple yards. Oates. Stevens.
You're just going to keep saying those same names tonight. Oates, Stevens, Wolford, Klein. These guys just are doing a yeoman job this year defensively.
That's a loss of almost 2 yards. Going to bring up a 3rd down and a long 5 or a short 6. Steen will split out wide left. Whittington wide right. And the first quarter comes to an end. The Allegheny Campers 13 and the Jefferson County Cougars nothing. This is City High School football on TCI's Channel 14. Cougars have the ball. Cougars have the ball.
Of the 2 end zones, this is the worst end as far as mud and the footing. The other end, the one towards the scoreboard, down near the goal line itself, is not that bad, but they're at really the worst end of the field right now. Not that it makes any difference, because Allegheny has put 2 scores in right from that spot.
From this same area.
Coach Merle, Dave Merle, out there trying to get some little more inspiration into that defensive unit. Want them to hold them here for at least 2 more downs.
Steen splits out wide to the left. Whittington wide right, I formation. Cookie Bunny, the fullback. Pearson, the tailback. Runyon, the quarterback. The pitch is to Pearson, trying to go left. And he's run out of bounds, short of the 1st down, I believe.
Shannon Stevens was the first guy there, and I think Marshall Oates was over.
So I think it's going to be about 2 yards, 4th and about 2. We'll see where they mark it.
Even the officials have a hard time throwing the ball around tonight.
And the Cougars want a timeout. It's 4th down and actually a little more than 2.
Well,
as number 36, the quarterback, Tim Runyon, comes to the sidelines.
This being one of their few opportunities so far tonight in close, I'm sure they want to talk it over and make the right decision, because it's just one of those things that at this time in the game they need to score. Gives us an opportunity while they have a timeout on the field, once again, to remind you of some of our sponsors. Kelco Credit Union. Kelco covers both ends of the holiday needs. Special Christmas loans from $500 to $1,000 and a whopping 8% Christmas Club yielding 8.25%. People on the go with Kelco. And also by Custom Floors, Burton Shopping Center in LaVale. A full selection of vinyl tile floors as well as beautiful carpeting is waiting for you, along with quality installation by owner Glenn Michael at Custom Floors.
Well, there's a good look into the Jefferson Cougar huddle.
And they have made their decision.
And they're going to split out. Number 19, Kevin Steen. Number 81, Whittington, is a slot back on the right side. This time, split backs in the backfield. 4th down, 2 yards to go for a first down. Running back to pass. Throws it, it's incomplete. He was being harassed by David Klein.
David Klein had a hold of his shoulder, and he could get nothing on the pass. He had the guy wide open where he was throwing to about the 5-yard line, but Klein's a little extra weight on his shoulder. He just could not get an accurate pass off.
So the Campers will get it. Where are they going to mark it? At the 6-yard line? At their own 6, so they do make a defensive stand.
Of course, the Cougars miss out on a golden opportunity, Chuck, and this could come back to haunt them because you don't get these opportunities very often, and you got to take advantage when you got them.
So the Campers from their own 6-yard line. Here's on a rollout. And he'll get up 8 or 9-yard line. Number 70 on the stop, Andre Kidrick.
Kidrick had a hold of the back of his shirt and just wouldn't let go.
So I'll pick up a 3 yards. 2nd down and 7.
Of course, on Allegany's part, it's a spot on the field, Chuck, where they got to be careful. You can't be getting too fancy down here because you don't want to give the ball up right here. So quarterback keeper or bootleg is an excellent call.
Knight Ashby will be a wing on the left side. 2nd down and 7. And the fullback, Cassidy, will carry to about the 11, maybe the 12-yard line. All right, bring up a 3rd and 5. They tried to run off their own left side. So we'll see what Coach Toby Eric.
What 5-yard play he's got in his arsenal here? Well, they probably like to pick up at least 6.
So Ashby is a wing on the right side. Pass. Miller. And Bryant has it to the 21.
Toughest pass really in any leg to stop. That real quick look in. Of course, another advantage, and of course Jefferson has scouted Allegheny many times or several times this year, and know that Scott's a left-handed quarterback, but sometimes after on the field you have a tendency to forget that. He jumps up there and looks out there from his left-handed position, and that particular side, as far as the halfback, just doesn't think about it.
Well, he has 2 ends that both have a great pair of hands, Brian Miller and Sean Rickard. So it's 1st and 10, and there's Ashby trying to get outside.
Needs a block.
And he needs a block, and Terry's up near the 35, 36-yard line as he's run out of bounds.
I'll tell you, I think it was Bradford. Believe me, the numbers are now starting to get tough to read, but I think Scott Bradford that time, he was the only guy that Ashby had to beat, and he was able to step up there and make the tackle, but not after Ashby made a really, really nice run.
He did. 15-yard pickup for Terry Ashby, so he's carried twice. Unofficially, I have him down for a 9-yard pickup and a 15-yard pickup. Cassidy, at this point, the big ball carrier for the Campers. But it's 1st and 10 from the 35, so they've been able to get out of the shadow of their own end zone. There's Ashby once again. Boy, he's corralled. I mean, he is corralled right at the line of scrimmage. Number 70 in there once again. 6'3", 210-pound Andre Kidrick.
He looked like he was jumping on a bull like that. 9:45 to go here in the first half. Allegheny 13, Jefferson nothing. In a game, shall we say, slightly marred by mud.
Just slightly. It's still sprinkling rain. It hasn't stopped since early this afternoon. So they line up at the 35, 2nd down and 10. Little play action again for Rickard. And Sean's down to the 30-yard line. I'll tell you, you've got 2 great ends, and you've got to credit Bauer, too, because he puts the ball right on the money.
That was right where it had to be. Of course, Rickard and Miller, 2 great ends, but 2 completely different type ball players. Rickard's the kind of guy that he'll catch the ball, and he's not going to fool anybody by saying, I'm going to outspeed you. He's going to try to run right over top of you. That's how he gets her done. Miller's going to do just the opposite. He's going to give you a leg and let you look at it and take it away, and zip, he's gone.
So it's to the Cougar 30-yard line, 1st and 10. There's a Bauer. I think there was a little mix-up, but there's Bauer on that keeper, and he's still going.
Tell you, Bauer's
down
just bowling
inside,
people over, Chuck.
Almost the 16-yard line. I'll tell you, that was a great run.
He put his head down, and he just knocked people right out of his way.
That was a great run. I thought he was had, and he just bounced off of people, put his head down, and just kept right on chugging down the road, down to the 16-yard line. 14-yard pickup. Is the line of scrimmage the 30 or the 35? Yeah,
30, irrelevant.
they're 14 or 19 yards. In any case, it's 1st and 10 for the Campers. Here's Cassidy, and he's still going.
He's still mudding it
He's
out.
down inside the 5. No, he's right at the 5-yard line. Should be 1st and goal for the Campers once again. A lot of arm tackling going on out there. And
Well,
you can't tackle these Allegheny backs that way.
Well, you can't tackle them after they've been sliding around this mud for a while either. I'll tell you, they're really getting themselves filthy dirty now, but sometimes you have fun in a game like this, I think.
So it's 1st and goal from the 5. The Campers on a 94-yard drive. They started after the Cougars lost it on downs on a good defensive stand by the Campers. They took it at their own 6. They are now at the Cougar 5. Oh, we got all kinds of movement. Now it's going to be from the 10.
I'll bet you they were going to go to the right side that time. I think they just, maybe half of them didn't listen to the count or didn't hear it.
Something wrong somewhere because they all moved.
Left side's got mud in their ear.
So that'll make it 1st and goal from the 10 on the illegal procedure call against the Campers.
8:04 to go in the second quarter. 8:04 to go in the first half. 13-0, Allegheny ahead. Looking to add on a couple more points, Chuck.
Well, now they got 5 more yards to go than they had originally. And there's Cassidy off that right side. And they got him stopped very near the goal line.
Tell you, Cassidy's doing just a tremendous
Oh, he
job.
certainly is.
Stepping in last week there in the second half to take over for Thad after Thad got injured. It just goes to a little bit of the problem, goes to show a little bit of the problem that the teams coming in here have, that of Allegheny's ability to get you with more than just one man. I mean,
Well, I
they've got
think
a slew of people that can do things.
He ran well against, I think it was South Hagerstown when Michael was hurt once again.
Right.
There's Ashby in for the touchdown.
That time, just a quick hand off to Terry, and Terry was able to just step through a hole that really nobody even stepped in there to tackle him. I'm afraid, Chuck, that, well, I'm not afraid, but I think maybe our analysis before the game, from the looks of what's taking place right now, the team out here that's dressed in blue came out with a mental attitude, ready to play this game and under these conditions.
Well,
And I don't think the white team did.
At least so far, there are all indications of that as the Campers are going for 2. And it's to Harper on a 2-yard run for the extra point.
Right up the middle.
So that makes the score 21-0. The Allegheny Campers over the Jefferson County Cougars. And we'd like to tell you this is City High School football coming to you on TCI's Channel 14. To stymie the Cougars, they fumbled their first possession of the ball. Randy Wolford recovered. The Campers turned that into a touchdown. On the next possession, they punted. The Campers turned that into a touchdown. They held the Cougars on downs at their own 6, and they turned that into a touchdown on a 94-yard drive. Jet handles it at the 13-yard line. Uh-oh. Harper runs him out of bounds.
Just got him out of bounds.
Just got him out of bounds.
I mean, that's what that guy can do right there.
James Jett. The Camper 42.
Tell you, when I was down there talking this first part of this week, I didn't get an honest answer. I don't know whether Jet may be injured. In other words, he may have some kind of an injury that keeps him from playing, or they're just not playing him. But I mean, I'm not saying this, but I don't want people to take me wrong. But you know, he's the kind of kid that's got to be in the game. I mean, he's a game breaker.
He's a great offensive weapon. Runyon back to pass. And throws a nice job by Shannon Stevens on just a little pop pass to Pearson, the tailback, and I think he lost a yard.
Pearson said, "Who dat?" He's going back and he's going to tell his quarterback right now, Runyon. He said, "Next time you throw that, you look around a little better because I don't need hit like that very often."
And here comes Jet into the lineup. Number 1, James Jet. 6 foot, 165-pound senior. He will be a wideout on the right side. In the slot is number 81, Brian Whittington.
And you got to keep an eye on him because he can be instant offense. But
he's offside.
No wonder he's instant.
Runyon back to pass, and it's out of bounds, incomplete anyhow. But I'm sure that he was a little quick to the line.
And they almost had Runyon in the backfield that time.
So it's a motion call.
Like I say, no matter how great your receivers are, if your quarterback is on his back, he can't throw it to him. And that's Allegany's philosophy right now.
Well, the best pass defense in the world is to make sure that quarterback doesn't have time enough to throw.
Right.
Penalty is declined. It'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Let him throw her out of the mud.
Can't throw it. You can't complete it if you're throwing it off your back.
Not too often.
So this is a big defensive play for the Campers. 3rd and 11 as they lead 21-0 middle way through the second quarter.
3rd and 11. Like I say, I don't. People are going to write me letters, but 3rd and 11, and you got Jet over here on the sideline again.
Steen and Whittington are the receivers on the right side. Back to pass again. And it's incomplete. Intended for number 87,
that pass,
Scott Huff.
That pass would have had to have been a pro perfect because he was trying to throw it over 3 Allegheny defenders to get it to his receiver, and it just wasn't there.
So the Camper defense holds. It's a punting situation. And they had great field position to start this. At the Camper 42, they are punting from the Camper 43.
A great defense again. Allegany's defensive stand. This is, of course, one of their trademarks this year. I mean, they haven't given up a slew of points. They've only given up like 28 or about 30 points so far this year, and very proud of it, too.
Crispin, the punter. Nice kick. Miller at the
got the wall set up.
13-yard line, and he's not going to get very far.
He just couldn't get to the wall quick enough.
That number 55 on the stop.
Well,
Bruce Wilt.
Mr. Mud. We'll call him Mudman, because I'll tell you, he's the dirtiest guy out there right now.
So the Campers will put it in play at the 24.
Between Wilt and Barlow, they got the 2 dirtiest uniforms out there. In fact, Jefferson's got one in there right now, number 9, Chuck. That, I mean, he doesn't have a speck
Well,
of
this
dirt
is
on
his
him.
first time in, and that's Chris Hosby. 1st and 10 for the Campers from their own 24-yard line. Harper, and I'll tell you, we got a flag. I'm not sure. I think it's face mask again. And it's against number 72, T.L. Whitaker. Of course, the Cougar bench don't like that call, but...
Well, Whitaker came out there, Tom, and actually did a good job of fighting off Lauch's block and kind of stacked things up, but he made the mistake of reaching up and grabbing his face mask.
So that takes the ball to the Allegheny 39. 1st and 10 as Shannon Stevens checks into the Camper huddle with a play from the bench. And I'm absolutely sure the Cougar bench did not like that one.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
21 for the Allegheny Campers, nothing for the Jefferson Cougars. Midway through the second period. 1st and 10 for the Campers. A little play action. Ricker has, no, it's Miller.
Telling
And
you,
he's
I'm gonna
gone.
catch him.
He is gone for the touchdown. From the 39-yard line, a 61-yard pass play.
Great job catching the ball to start with. Right after he caught the ball, he had to contend with one defender. He just kind of bumped him off to the right and shot his way down the sideline. Now, once he gets going, there's not too many people that's going to catch him.
Well, I guarantee you that ball was laid in there beautifully, and Miller with his great hands able to haul it in, and just down the sideline he went. And I'll tell you one thing, I think he surprised some of the Cougars with his speed.
Well, he's surprised everybody is playing this year because it's just something that, I'll be honest with you, the coaching staff didn't realize. I don't think this year that he had that much speed. And believe you me, they're very well pleased.
The kick is blocked.
Well, I don't know if it was blocked, Chuck, or he just didn't get under it.
Anyhow, it's no good.
It wasn't even been any good in soccer.
So it's 27 for the Campers and nothing for the Cougars.
While they're getting lined up to kick the ball off again, Chuck will give us a chance to remind you about some of our sponsors for tonight's game. Hartley's Pizza, great pizza, sandwiches and wedges and much more. And 3 great locations to serve you: Lafayette Avenue, William Street, and the National Highway in LaVale. And also by the Paint Information Center on Mechanic Street in downtown Cumberland. For all your painting needs, see the Martin Senor line of paint at your Paint Information Center.
So
Chuck, have you painted anybody's walls, Chuck?
Well, the second Tuesday of each week I want.
Because I told you like a couple weeks ago, anybody went in and bought a gallon, you'd put it on for them. My brother said he was in there and never got the offer.
Is that right?
Well, you must.
Well, he didn't tell me who he was.
Well, that's the problem. He doesn't like to be known as my brother.
Oh, so Wolford to kick off. Nice kick. At the 10-yard line. Steen. And Miller misses him. The wall is set up, and I think he just tripped.
Well, it's just one of those casualty of the field. He went to cut back, and it just wasn't there, but we've got a flag at about the 26-yard line.
So the run back is to the 34. It's going to be a clip against the Cougars. So that'll take him from the 26, half the distance back to the 13.
I tell you, Steamboat Stevens that time, he was down. He's always the first guy down on the kickoff, but he was down about the 15-yard line and took a dive at him and just missed him.
And then Brian Miller had a shot at him, and he also missed him. So, maybe Steen putting a little move on. So at the 13-yard line, the Cougars put it in play, trailing 27-0, 4:56 remaining in the first half.
Tell you, they got all 4:56 to go here in the first half, Chuck. Time enough to put together, some kind of a drive or something to get himself in a little better frame of mind going in at halftime, because that'll be a tough halftime.
Pearson. And nice fumble.
It's still being fumbled.
And I think the Campers have it.
That's Pearson's second carry and second fumble. So
Sean Ricker on the stop for the Campers.
Of course, some of it has to go to the great pursuit that the Allegheny defense puts on a ball player. They just don't ever give up. And one of them that time, Harry Riggleman, he was after him. I think Harry was in on the second hit, which helped create the fumble, and that's just...
So we really have no way of knowing who recovered it, but it's the Campers' ball at the Jefferson 9-yard line.
Of course, Toby Eric would just love to push one in right here, because I tell you, going in up by 30 at halftime or over 30 would be just a great feeling.
Now there's Miller on the end around, and he's in for the touchdown.
Here again, just so many weapons that Allegany's got, just so many different people that can beat you from so many different positions, and it's just very difficult to defend a team like this. And that didn't take very long. They got the ball, and in about 4 seconds, they've got another 6 points on the board. And this, without sounding too mean, Chuck, this could put Cougars back on the bus at halftime, and they may not want to come back.
Well, that's a little revenge from last year.
Well, I'm sure that that sermon was was preached several times during the week, but I know another, just a very short statement that Jack made to the team just prior to coming out on the field, and it had to do with remember somebody that we want to remember, and I'm sure that's in a lot of these kids' minds and hearts tonight, and they may be playing this game not only for themselves but
For Nadine.
for a great lady upstairs. And
so in any event, it is the Allegheny Campers 34 and the Jefferson County Cougars nothing. There's 4:11 left in the second period, and the Campers have turned 2 fumbles into scores.
two mishaps, 2 disasters turned into 2 very, very good things for Allegheny.
So Wolford's kick. Jet has it at the 20. Sidesteps Stevens, but David Klein is there to stop him at the 31.
He got mixed up with the Sixers that time, the 60 and the 66, and he just wasn't going to get away from those 2. So the Cougars now with 4 minutes and 6 seconds to go. And as I said about 30 seconds ago, Chuck, it's still have time to put together some kind of a drive. But really, in all sense of the term, they need something here. If they don't, they go into halftime down by 34.
So another clean jersey into the lineup, Larry Winston. Runyon back to pass. Trying to set up a screen. And Pearson one-hands it up across the 40. Run out of bounds by Klein and Miller and Stevens.
Klein just took on about the whole outfit that time on this side of the field. He saw the screen set up and he took on the 2 blockers and the ball carrier.
So a gain of 9 yards. Second down and 1. Pearson made a nice catch on it. He had to one-hand the ball. The ball's actually thrown behind him.
Well, Pearson's a great athlete, as the coaching staff of the Cougars pointed out. And, of course, Allegheny remembers him from last year, too. He was no slouch last year.
Well, I guarantee you, he showed me something down there last year. He has a tremendous amount of speed. So they got triple wideouts this time. 2 to the left side, 1 to the right, and the quarterback fumbled a snap, and he will not get the first down. Bring up a 3rd and short.
I'll tell you, it depends on where they mark it. Now, they're giving him a pretty good mark, Chuck. It's going to be
I didn't think he'd go back to the original line of scrimmage.
I didn't either, but, I'm up here and they're down there. And they're cold, too, and wet. We're not.
So I think we are going to get a measurement.
While they measure that, gives us an opportunity to remind you of some of our sponsors, Dietrich's Restaurant and National Highway in LaVale. Your perfect tailgate party isn't complete until you have been to Dietrich's for some fabulous subs, sandwiches, and donuts.
That's 3rd and inches. See, I told you they didn't have a first.
You're exactly right, Chuck.
Oh, man.
Gee whiz, never doubt your word.
What an eye. What an eye. Huh.
That comes from all those years of experience down there getting yelled at by the coaches. How dumb you were and everything.
Yeah. I've had, over the years, I've had several of them question my ancestry. And Mr. Gilmore and I used to have running conversations for years.
Cougars have got to get a first down here, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, they got it. They got the first down at the Camper 47 or 48-yard line. We'll see where they mark it.
Clock sitting at 2:55 to go. And, it's like I've pointed out many times, they got a guy that's in the lineup right now that can put 6 points on the board like any time. He's not in the game now.
No,
he
just came off the field. Right, so
off.
Steen and Whittington are wide to the left side. And the handoff is to Pearson. And he's bumped out of bounds by Brian Miller. And see, they're splitting out 2 wideouts to the left side. And then they bring Scott Huff, the tight end, and stick him out there as a flanker. They're trying to spread that defense out and give Pearson a little running room. Well, Pearson gains 5, second down and 5.
2:37 to go in the first half. Allegheny 34, Jefferson County, nothing. Now we got number 1 in the game, Jet.
Pearson once again. Again, nice hole off that side. Randy Wolford on the stop. A gain of about 3. Now getting 4. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
Tell you, look up at what Jefferson's doing, running the ball. They're not going to get back in the game just toting the ball like this. They've got to go up top sometime sooner or later, Chuck.
Well, what they might be doing by spreading this out, here we are with 3 wideouts again, 2 on the left side and 1 on the right. Jet in the slot on the left side. And a quarterback keeper for the 1st down. And Dettinger finally gets him as he bounced off of 2 or 3 tacklers and gets down to the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
1:49 to go in the first half. Of course, when they set the sticks, the clock will be in motion again.
And Bill Powell winds her up. Checking into the lineup is number 25, Scott Bradford. He'll line up as a wide out on the left side. Jet in the slot on the left side. Both ends this time are in tight. Now we split out Whittington to the right side. And there's a movement by the guard. So that'll cost the Cougars 5 yards. Just a little quick.
They go through all that, and then some guy in the middle with mud all over his face picks his arm up a little too quick.
And that's what makes coaches get gray.
You're absolutely right.
But that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Well, yes. They're all rich, driving Cadillacs, living in big homes.
Right.
I'm still renting a trailer.
Whittington, wide right. Jet in the slot on the left side. Steed out as the wide man on the left side.
This is where the blue team has got to get pressure on that quarterback, because he's definitely throwing
Flash
it. They got
pass, there it
pressure.
comes.
Got lower a
The ball is loose. And the Campers got it. Dettinger got it. I'll tell you, that was a great job. I think it was that Oates, number 74, or Hilton came in from that backside.
73.
Ray Hilton caused the fumble.
That's where you got to have the pressure. You know they're going to throw the ball, and under a circumstance like that, they got 1 minute and 8 seconds to go. Allegheny does. A chance now, I'm sure that they would, believe you me, they would just love to tack one on right here.
So at the Jefferson 48-yard line on the Dettinger recovery of a fumble caused by Ray Hilton. Bauer back to pass for Rickard, and it's knocked down by Jet. I think that's the first incomplete pass from Scott Bauer, and it took a great defensive play by a great, well, not a great player, won't go that far, but an excellent football player in James Jet to take it out of the hands of Sean Rickard.
He had it right there, just the Jet was right there also. He also had Harper going down the field that time, so that's just another look that they've got. And they're going to set Harper out there again.
Send him out as a wingback, way wide to the right. Draw play. Cassie, and he's tripped up.
He never really got a hold of the ball. It just kind of bobbled it getting to him, and he never really got things rolling.
Because he definitely had the hole out.
Yes, he did.
I got an official's timeout out here.
Got to wash the ball off. Or they got to find the ball. There they found it.
Campers take a timeout on a 3rd down and 6 play coming up.
35 seconds to go, and I'm sure that Toby Eric out there right now talking to his offensive team, and they would like nothing more right now than to push one in the end zone.
So we've had 3 turnovers by the Cougars. 2 fumbles prior to this last one that were turned into touchdowns. And the Campers trying once again to make it 3 for 3.
That's one of the keys. If you can get the turnover, can you turn it into something, to your own advantage?
Well, you ever watch the pro games on Sundays? They always talk about giveaways and takeaways.
Yeah. So far in this game are a little lopsided.
A little bit.
In favor of the Campers.
The Campers, like I say, this is the 3rd fumble recovery. 2 they have turned into touchdowns. So with 35 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter, 3rd down and 6. from the Jefferson 44 as Bauer, he's got a man open.
Got
Miller, flag.
We're going to get pass interference.
Definitely on number 9.
I'll tell you, Miller did all he could do, but number 9 that time, Chris Hornsby had a hold of him just as he went to reach for the ball. Because he came open and Hornsby had nothing else to do but grab a hold of him.
So it'll be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, a first down for the Campers.
Of course, like pros in college, the kids are starting to line up where the ball is, but it's not a at ball.
It's not the spot
at the
of the
point
foul.
of the foul. It's 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Of course, we're 29 seconds.
And also at the 29-yard line. So 29 for 29. We'll see what happens here.
Well, that was definitely another 6, except for Hornsby's ability to reach out and grab a hold of Miller's shirt.
A little play-action pass. Nobody there.
I think he recognized it wasn't there and just threw it away.
They had 3 men out. Harper,
they had
Miller,
3 out,
and Rickert.
They had 3 out, and the Cougars had 5.
So, really, all things considered, that's the best thing you can do, just throw it away.
That's right.
And try to crank it up again. That play took 5 seconds.
Well, they've got plenty of time. They realize that, and Scott Miller has done Scott Bauer has done nothing but mature this year. The more he plays, the wiser he plays.
We had a little problem with the clock. There's actually 18 seconds remaining.
So reverse.
And it's Harper.
Harper coming out.
And he's going to get out of bounds. He's forced out by number 26, Dynell Payton. So it's into inside the 19-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 for the Campers, 11 seconds.
I'll tell you, I'm sure the Cougars are sitting there going, on a night like this, they did not expect to see an inside reverse run. And Allegheny is basically has not missed a click tonight, Chuck. I mean, they have not lost one thing out of their offense. And that has something to say for the intensity with which the kids are playing right now. That this weather, the field conditions means absolutely nothing to them.
Flag on the play. Bauer's got, it's going to be a motion call. I think we got a fight here.
Well, it's something that as Bauer went to get up, one of the Cougar players just kind of sat on him and wouldn't let him get up, and then Bauer's kind of give him a little love tap. Officials have stepped in and gotten it all straightened out.
Ashby was very upset about the whole situation.
Well, we got a couple of flags, as is always brought about. We've got to throw flags when something like this happens. And then, Chuck, I'm going to say this: usually the most nonsensical thing takes place. They call foul on each team, which, I don't think helps the situation one bit. But who am I?
Well, you're down 34-0, and there's no sense in doing something like this. So we got a motion call against the Campers to start with. Now we got a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against both teams, and that's what it's going to be. So they're going to
mark the motion penalty off.
Mark the motion penalty off and replay the down.
Well, then they have to mark both of the other penalties off, right?
No.
It's dead ball foul?
They're both dead ball foul.
Okay.
So they're going to get the live ball foul from the line of scrimmage. You're going to come back 5 yards, and the other two are just going to cancel each other out. So it's still the Campers' ball. 5 seconds remaining.
Well, of course, this double foul is nothing. I mean, it's nothing exclusive to high school, college, or the pro. They do it everywhere. But like I say, I just think it's the most nonsensical call that the officials can make. If there's a personal foul called, call it. If a guy retaliates, you got to take into consideration why he retaliated. He might have just got swatted in the head. But
there is one thing.
The length of time calms them down, or
right.
what?
Well, I've been saying this for years. In a game like this, if you throw a boy out from Jefferson, by the rules of the West Virginia secondary schools, he can't play next week. He can't practice. He can't do anything. A boy gets thrown out from Maryland, it's nothing. He can go back next week and play. I think it's wrong. I'd like to see it more uniform. If a guy gets thrown out of the game because of something that he does, I think he should be penalized more so than just in the ball game.
Right.
I'd like to see them make the change that rule in Maryland. I really would. Now we got a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike,
On the coach.
against the Cougars.
The coach was on the field. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm not sure anymore. They marked them both off.
Okay, so he is penalizing them in the order of their occurrence. Okay, so he took it in half the distance, and now he brought it out 15 yards. So it's not. Well, now the Campers want a timeout.
I'm sure nobody understands this.
Okay,
any more than us,
all right,
Chuck.
all right,
So
here's
give
what
it to
happened.
them.
Okay, they marched off the 5-yard penalty for the illegal motion. Okay, they had a double foul once again against each team. So the order of their occurrence was the first foul was called against Jefferson, the second foul against the Campers. So the ball was at the where were they, 10-yard line.
Right now, they're at the.
All right, right now the line of scrimmage is
29.
Yeah, all right. So they marched it because they were inside the 30. They're only going to go half the distance. Okay, but coming back out now, they can march off the full 15. So this is where we are now. We've got five. What we got about second or first and
First and
not
about 20.
quite 20, about 19 yards. So
I'm-
first and 19, 5 seconds to go. In what has been just in the last 2 minutes, one terrible, confusing mess.
Sloppy, to say the least.
Now we got movement again. Come on, guys.
It's ruined another otherwise pretty nice first half for the Campers. This should have ended 1 minute ago, and things we wouldn't have been able to have to
You
explain
wouldn't have had all
all
this
this stuff.
mess. That's right. So there's still 5 seconds to go. Only now we got first and 24.
This has got to be the longest 5 seconds I've ever experienced. This is longer than 5 seconds in a pro basketball game. I think we'll see one near the end zone. So he put it up. That's an illegal receiver. I don't think we got enough flags for this call.
Pass was caught by David Klein, and I tell you, Scotty Bauer was abruptly thrown to the ground.
They packed some mud down where he hit because he hit pretty hard. Well, this is an offensive penalty, so it's not going to affect the.
So it's an illegal forward pass, loss of down, and that's the half. So the Allegheny Campers 34, the Jefferson County Cougars nothing, as we are at halftime. This is City High School football coming to you on TCI's Channel 14.
Custom Floors in Burton Shopping Center is your
9 seconds and counting left before we start the third quarter. The score, Allegheny 34 and Jefferson nothing, and that's all the lights there are here except in the broadcast booth at Greenway Avenue Stadium, as somebody pulled a plug somewhere and we're completely in darkness.
Literally. Some people have accused Jefferson of turning out the lights so they could get on the bus, but being this far behind. But I was sitting over in the center section here of this with talking to Charlie Latimer, and I said, "Charles, I'm certainly glad you're here." And he said, his only comment was, "This ain't funny." And it's evidently he said there's one main breaker box that when the lights go like that, then all the lights under the stands are on, the lights down below us, and we have lights in the booth here, but just the field lights went out. And he said it's one breaker box. It could be a very simple thing to fix, or it could be not very simple. But anyhow, Chuck,
There you are. Dave
dark.
Marwini, our cameraman, is panning the field. You can see there's a little bit a few lights just across the field in the public address announcer's booth, but that's just all there is. Mark, do you have any stats from the first half?
well, I've got just a couple. We've got
right.
Allegheny right now with 20 first downs for a total of 264 yards. Jefferson's got 6 first downs for a total of 97 yards. And David Cassidy has 11 carries and 103 yards so far in the first half.
So there we are, the Allegheny Campers 34 and the Jefferson County Cougars nothing, as 2:37 and counting before we start the third period. Now, I really can't tell you when that's going to happen. We just have to wait for the lights to come on. So we're going to take a commercial break here and just wait for the lights to come back on, see if we can continue. The second half at 4, and the Jefferson County Cougars nothing. Yeah, we had.
Chuck, the mud's gotten deeper out there. The water's still coming down.
It's still coming down. It's a very, very sparse drizzle, but it is still coming down, and the Campers, who deferred their choice to start this ball game and went on defense, will now receive the kickoff to start the second half. And let's hope that whatever transpired in the last 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever, that all melee that we had to end the first half, everybody's tempers are cooled off now. We're going to go back to playing football.
Because I'll tell you, with the exception of the last 5 seconds, Allegheny could not have played a better half, Chuck.
No, they really couldn't. I believe up to, well, I think Bauer missed his last, 2 completions, or possibly 3, but he was perfect after that, I think. Unofficially 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 or something, and one of them was a big 61-yard.
Well, one of the misses was a pass
interference. And one of them being that big 61-yard touchdown to Brian Miller. So the Campers will line up to receive this kick with Greg Harper, Terry Ashby, and Brian Miller in the center as the deep man. The Cougars standing down there talking to their head coach, getting ready to come out.
One of the other passes that he missed was also he threw it while being pounded to the ground, and actually David Klein caught the pass, but of course an ineligible receiver, so things got all screwed up there too. But we're back here ready to go, Chuck, and ready to have some fun into the second half.
So the man lining up to kick it is going to be David Bound to kick off for the Cougars. They wouldn't try an onside kick down 34-0, would they, Mark?
Needless to say, David hasn't been very busy tonight.
So here we go, ready to start the second half. Allegheny 34 and Jefferson nothing. And he just bounces right through the mud and the water, and Miller picks it up at the 23-yard line. And he's bouncing off his own players and finally down at the 41.
The ball came to a dead stop.
A dead stop in 3 or 4 inches of water or whatever it is that's out there.
Looked like a big bass laying there.
So the Campers from their own 42.
Miller threw it out his fly, picked the ball up, down the field he went, reeling her in.
So good field position to start the third quarter for the Campers.
I'll tell you, they could give up their shoulder pads. They need life jackets out there where they're messing around now.
Joe Wolf, the center, brings them out. Ashby is a wide out to the left side. The handoff is to Harper. And Greg's still going, and he's down at the 33. Nice quick opener off that right side, running behind Mike Lauk and Randy Wolford. And Greg goes from his own 42 to the Cougar 33.
I tell you, Harper looked like a little gnat scooting along that time. He's of course built pretty low to the ground. He's only 5'7", 150 pounds, but Mr. M legs are a churning. He's scooting along like a little gnat. So you can't see him.
About a 25-yard pickup for Greg Harper as he is split out wide to the right side. Same thing to Ashby, but boy, he's met, and I mean he's met hard.
Ashby didn't have the luxury of the big hole that Harper had.
And the man on the stop was Andy Bartlow. So no gain. Second down and 10. I'll tell you, the busiest person on this football field tonight are the ball boys.
They're washing the ball after every play.
And trying to keep a dry ball in there, and they're running in with that football after every play. So they're piling up the yardage too. Ashby, a wing on the left side as he splits out wide. There's that same play to Harper, another big hole. Down inside the 25-yard line.
You know, Chuck, it looks to me like Allegheny had one luxury at halftime that the Cougars didn't. It looks to me like they had the luxury of putting on another jersey. They went in and evidently brought a second change of jerseys with them so that they're all out there in, at least for now, somewhat dry uniforms. And the Cougars have sat at halftime for 20 minutes in like a refrigerator over in that locker room. And I'm sure they're going to be cold and stiff coming out here too.
3rd down and 1, 9-yard pickup for Harper. And this time it is Ashby, and he gets inside
He fumbled it.
And he fumbled it, and the official is getting clobbered. And here comes Harper trying to run him down.
He's not going to catch him.
He's not going to catch him. Jet with a nice block. And a fumble recovery from about the 22 or 23-yard line. And it's a touchdown for the Cougars.
I'll tell you, in defense of the official that time, I couldn't see who he was in the way of, but he really prevented that Allegheny player from getting over there to attempt to make the tackle.
So number 26, Donnell Payton, on a 74-yard fumble recovery.
Well, that's about how far he ran the ball. What happened that time, I think Ashby got the ball and it slid back on his hip. And he went down with the ball on his hip, and as he hit the ground, it popped up. And, of course, he lost possession of it, enabling the Cougars to pick it up off the ground and scoot down the sideline.
So it is a touchdown for the Cougars.
Here we go again, getting the kick out of the big pile of water.
And bounce kick is good. So it is 34 to 7.
That's at the 9:43 mark to go here in the 3rd quarter. And shall we call it, what are you going to call it, just a fluke?
Yeah, really, because the Campers had the 1st down and were on a drive for another touchdown. But that was the thing we talked about earlier in the ball game. So the Campers had 3 turnovers. They recovered 3 fumbles, were able to turn 2 of them into touchdowns. So now the Cougars turn right around, and unofficially we're going to credit Payton with a 74-yard fumble recovery for the touchdown. So 3 out of the 4 fumbles have resulted in scores.
I'll tell you, that was a dramatic recovery, too, because he scooped that baby up and he was gone.
So a little bit of life for the Cougars. And again, it's kicked into that water area. And again, Miller picks it up. And Brian, he's gone. He's gone.
As long as you don't fall down.
Picked that ball up at about the 23-yard line.
It's not hard to figure out where he picked it up because you can see where it stops.
So that's a 77-yard unofficially run back.
So within a matter of, shall we say, about 15 seconds, we've had a total of
10 seconds.
We've had a total of
2 touchdowns
13
scored.
points put on the board.
A big fumble recovery and run in for a touchdown from roughly 74 yards out. Now Miller picks the ball up in that pile of water at the 23 and runs it 77 yards for a TD. Now Wolford will attempt the extra point. And we got a lot of fireworks here. And the kick is good.
So we can say Miller is good at picking the ball up out of the water to run a kickoff back, and he also is not bad from stealing it out of somebody's arms last week.
Yeah, that's right. That was a beautiful play. And the Campers scored their last touchdown last week up in Morgantown. He just took it off of the man who was running the kickoff back and ran it in for himself from about 25 yards out. So they trade touchdowns here in a 10-second span. It's 41-7 in favor of the Allegheny Campers as the Campers get ready to kick off once again. And we've had a lot of action in this early part of the 3rd quarter.
Well, you know, the Cougars didn't learn anything because their first kickoff, that's where the ball went, and Miller almost broke that one. So really, I guess what Brian needed was a little practice.
So Miller has scored 3 touchdowns in this ball game, one on a 61-yard pass, one on a 9-yard end-around play, and this 77-yard kickoff. So Jet takes it at the 20, and here he comes, and he's going to be run out of bounds. Dave Klein, Randy Wolford, and Greg Harper. But Jet is run out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, he got to the sideline and just took the easy route, so forget it.
Well, he was running out of territory, so the best thing for him to do is get out of bounds. That way he doesn't get hit. He doesn't have to worry about it. So 1st and 10 for the Cougars from their own 41-yard line. As Whittington is splits out wide left, Steen out wide to the right side. Jet will come as a slot man.
He's coming
Now
off
he's
the
coming
field.
off the field.
There's that screen.
Trying to set up that screen, and it's incomplete. It was intended for number 32, Larry Winston.
Tell you, the guy that almost picked that one off was Dave Klein.
So that's twice now in that screen that Dave has been right in the middle of it. So he's from his linebacker position. He can see when they're letting the lineman through and pursuing, and then he sees all these white shirts in front of him.
He knows where he's got to be.
So Jet a slot on the left side. Steen is out wide. There's a wide out on the left. Runyon, the quarterback, barking signals, and he's going to throw it. And almost intercepted by number 21 for the Campers, Darren Beachy.
I tell you, Beachy had his eye on that, and it was really a telegraph play because Jet went down about 3 or 4 yards and just stopped dead, and Beachy had him nailed right to the wall because if he'd been able to hang on to the ball, whether he'd be able to outrun Jet, I don't know, but
Darren has good speed, but that would have been an interesting race.
made a great effort, though, to get it.
So it's 3rd down and 10. As again, Whittington wide right, Steen wide left with Jet in the slot on the left side. Quick pass to Whittington, just inside Brian Miller, and he's down at the Camper 43.
Whittington
1st
did a
and
nice
10.
job that time, Chuck, grabbing onto that ball just with one hand, pulling it in.
And again, that's a pass that is extremely hard to defend against, that little look in or slant pattern, whatever you want to call it, but it's very effective. So it's 1st and 10 for the Cougars from the Camper 43. Bradford splits wide to the right side. Jet goes in motion. Same pass, and it's overthrown.
Well, he
Intended
saw-
for Bradford, but it was no chance.
He saw Klein step right in there, right in front of his view of his receiver, and I think just made the adjustment and threw it right over everybody's head.
Also, he had double coverage that time as Shannon Stevens, from his linebacker position, dropped back to give Beachy a hand. So incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
I'll tell you, Chuck, you can people can see it. I mean, I can see it on our screen. You get around the Allegheny blue team, there just seems to be a bunch of steam rolling off of them. Like,
Yeah, there is.
they are hot.
So Jet goes in motion once again, covered out there by Miller. And a quick slant. And it's Whittington once again, down to the Camper, 22.
I tell you, Whittington is running a pattern that looks very familiar to run last year by a guy named Stanton. They would send Jet either in motion or stick him out as a big wide out. Stanton would roll underneath of him and pick off that pass, just like Whittington's doing right now.
You know, they like to throw a lot to that man in the slot.
But here again, the secret to this is you got to get more pressure on the passer.
And Jet comes in motion back to the near side. And they're going to throw it again. And Whittington once again, Keys on the stop at the 12. Very close to a 1st down. See, Whittington now is lining up a split about 3 yards off to the right side. Jet comes in motion to this side and takes him deep, and that leaves the middle open.
It's a play that works, quite well when you're outside about the 20-yard line. Inside the 20, the pattern doesn't have time to develop, so it's not something that's a...
It's 1st and 10 for the Cougars from the Camper 12-yard line. Again, here comes Jet in motion. And again, we're going to throw it.
Going to Jet deep.
And it's out of the end zone. Out of the end zone.
It was actually caught by Miller, but they were both out of the end zone when he caught it.
So 2nd down and 10.
We got a penalty on the far side of the field, a penalty flag.
Now we'll see what referee Bill Powell comes up with.
Looks like it's against
Looks like
Jefferson.
an ineligible receiver. Down.
Is that a loss of down?
No, not
It
this
is
year.
not.
Last year was 15 yards and a loss of down. This year is just 5 yards, no loss of down.
Did seem an excessive penalty for such a. So that's what rules committee meet for, to
Yes, they
try
do.
to straighten out the.
And they really realized that was a little severe. So, I mean, the 15-yard penalty's tough enough, but when you get a loss of down tacked on with that.
What that does, though, is backs Jefferson up, gives them a little more room where they can
They can run that slant in.
run that slant in across the middle again.
So Whittington out wide right, Steen wide left as Jet goes in motion once again. And it's overthrown. I'll tell you, a great rush that time by the campers. Cassidy and David Klein really made run and hurry that throw, and he threw it before he really wanted to because he had a back coming out of the backfield and he was open.
Well, that's like I said. We pointed out that's the secret. You get pressure on the quarterback, and you can pretty well bust up any pass play, and that shows it even more because the receiver was wide open. There wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him.
Steen wide left. Whittington wide right. Jet in the slot on the left side. He comes in motion back to the near side. Ready back to pass again, and it's incomplete.
Just overthrown again. Here again, he tried to throw it into too much coverage. Allegheny had the receiver well covered that time, and he may have just decided to go on and throw it away because he threw it way high over everybody's head.
So it was intended once again for Whittington.
Way high. That's English for real high.
Right. Bradford checks into the lineup for the Cougars. 3rd down and 15. And he'll be a wide out to the right side. Whittington to the left side. And Jet in the slot on the left side. Comes back in motion to the near side. And it's Wolford.
Fumble.
He has fumble.
Fumble. Can we dig it out of the water? Wolford.
And he's got it.
Wolford
Great play by Randy Wolford.
Wolford looked like a big bear reaching in a big creek up in the woods, digging that ball right out of the water. I'll tell you, Wolford came that time when nobody touched him, and I'm sure that Runyon was looking up going, why me?
And the Campers chase him all the way back, and their fumble is recovered at their own 33. And now we got a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike against the Cougars. So that's going to be 15 more.
Say, this is stuff I'm sure that the Cougar coaching staff does not like to see. It's just, it's just something that you just don't like to see. You don't like to see kids out there doing things that really have nothing to do with the game.
So unsportsmanlike against the Cougars, and that'll take it all the way out to the Allegheny 48.
You don't get an unsportsmanlike conduct call against you for doing something well.
No, not really. So the line of scrimmage is the Camper 48-yard line, 1st and 10. There's a little play-action pass, and Rickard
He had Miller.
goes deep, and Miller underneath, but it's incomplete.
That time just a little bit high over Ricker's head.
Miller's limping. And I think it's his ankle.
You know, it could be an ankle, it could be a cramp too, because this is the kind of weather that you can very easily cramp up.
Well, let's hope that's all
Yeah.
it is, just a cramp.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes the cramp is as debilitating. I mean, for the time that he would need to play, a cramp could be as debilitating as a sprain. Because you get to the point where you're getting cramps in your legs, you know, sometimes you just can't stop getting them.
Now it's the Campers 41 and the Cougars 7.
Gives us an opportunity, Chuck, while we're they're administering to Miller there on the field, to once again thank some of our sponsors and remind you that the presentation of area high school football on TCI's Cablevision of Maryland, Channel 14, tonight is being brought to you by Albright Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter is fast approaching, so we want you to see Gerald Albright today for ways to keep your family comfortable all year round with heating and cooling units by York, and also by Roy Rogers Family Restaurant on the Queen City Drive in the Country Club Mall. Stop by before or after the game for a delicious hamburger, roast beef, or great tasting chicken.
I think you're right, Mark. They look like they were working on a calf muscle, and he's going off under his own power, and he doesn't appear to be limping, so let's hope that that's what it was. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10 as, let's see who we got in here. Number 82 checks in for the Campers, Fernando Wallace.
Right up
There's
the middle.
Cassidy, and he'll have the 1st down near the 40.
Cassidy gives that old one-legged hop there. He got hit, but he had one leg free, and he just kept hopping until he got that 1st down.
So another fine run by Cassidy. As Mark mentioned, they had him for 11 carries and 103 yards in the 1st half. So Wolf brings him out. 1st and 10 from the 41. Now I got a flag on the play. I think we got somebody lined up in the neutral zone. And that's what it is. Somebody lined up wrong. I think they'd have learned that by now. You know?
Well, you know, they got...
They might have called it on the new guy,
That's right.
Wallace, 82, because it was on that side.
He'll figure out where the line of scrimmage is.
So it's 1st and 15 now.
7:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 41-7. Allegheny over Jefferson.
We had a lot of action when this 3rd quarter started. It's kind of settled down a little bit now.
We had a lot of action there in 10 seconds.
Beachy will be a wingback on the left side. And the pitch is to Cassidy, and that was a busted play. That thing never really did get started right.
I don't think it was... had the wrong formation called for the play they wanted to run is all.
So no gain. 2nd down and 15. That's one of the very few things the Campers have really not done right.
Chuck, as we pointed out in the 1st half, except for 5 seconds, they played a near perfect 1st half. And really, they haven't, except for the fumble, which is just part of the game. And to be honest with you, I'm amazed we haven't had more fumbles because of the condition of the field and the ball's in.
We've already had 5. And there he goes again. And Cassidy down to the 36-yard line. So he picks up another 10 yards.
And there again, when the fullback is being tackled by a safety or a halfback, you know that the work up front's being done by those big, dirty mudslingers there.
Yeah. We're not
Call them the offensive line. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we're not going to call them the Hogs, but I'll
No.
tell you, they're doing a yeoman's job out there.
The Hogs are down the road here. These guys are maybe the piglets.
And I'll tell you, they're doing a great job, as they have all year.
That's
The
right.
offensive line of the Campers has just been outstanding. So 3rd down and 5. There's Cassidy, 1st down, inside the 30. I'll tell you, he's just running wild tonight. Great blocking once again, though, by the right side of that Camper line.
I tell you, I bet that Michael's shoulder is starting to get a lot better right now.
Well, each time that Cassidy has filled in for Thad, he's done an admirable job.
That's right.
Really.
Of course, this is what Allegheny was hoping for, a chance to give Thad a chance to rest another week without any contact, and I'm sure they're very, very happy with what's
All right, here
happening.
comes Harper, but he's not going to get anywhere. Now, you had some blockers out there, but good penetration by the defensive line. Number 19 and number 72. That would be Whitaker and Steen. So a loss of 2. 2nd down and 12.
That play took about 11 minutes too long to develop. He looked like he was running across this field here for about 2 minutes. We're at 4:43 and the clock running to go here in the 3rd quarter. Allegheny 41, Jefferson 7.
There he goes again. Spinning and fighting his way down to the 21-yard line.
Here again, that initial hole that's there right at the line of scrimmage. You just can't say enough for, for that line of scrimmage. You got Wolford and Rickard and
Mike Lau.
Lau.
Joe Wolf.
Marshall Oates.
and David Klein or Shannon Stevens, depending who's in there. The gain is to the 22-yard line, 3rd down and 4. Ashley coming out here as a wingback on the left side, and he's walking very gingerly. There he goes again. I'm telling you, this is amazing as Cassidy is down to the 10-yard line.
Well, they're going back to
Mike
Chuck.
Lauck and the center, Joe Wolf, are just doing a heck of a job there because that's where he's running, right between center and guard.
And they're going down. Toby's over saying, "Hey, stop it! I'm going to use it till you stop it."
All right. So they're just out. Now they are at the 10-yard line, so it's 1st and goal. And Ashby trying to get outside, and he's thrown for a loss.
Just he never got going. Number dirt coming out of a linebacker slot. That's probably got to be 60.
Now that would probably be Bartlow.
It's hard.
Although the numbers are getting very hard to read for the Cougars.
I can't see him anyway.
So the loss is back to the 13-yard line. So it's 2nd and goal from the 13. There's that steam coming up out there.
I'll tell you, it's just rolling off there. Them are 2 really hot teams out there right now.
See, Ashby, I don't know if he's got a problem with his leg or what. There's that hole again. And he's down inside the 10, near the 6. Is Cassidy once again.
Well,
Ashby walking like he's...
right after he fumbled the ball, Chuck, he went over and sat down on the bench. Probably the worst thing you can do on a night like tonight because you're going to start to stiffen up, almost immediately. And, he may be getting a little stiff.
So the line of scrimmage is near the 6-yard line, and it's 3rd down and goal. We got a temporary halt here by the officials. As Mike Lauck is leaving the ball game, I don't know if he's got an equipment problem or what, but
it's hard to say because he's going to the sideline.
Now there's Cassidy. He breaks 3 tackles and he's in for the touchdown.
That's exactly what he did.
What a great run by that young man.
I mean, he broke 2 tackles right at the line of scrimmage. But for some reason they sent Lauck out of the game, but he's right back in. So I guess
I tell you, the camera's just been awesome again tonight. And Cassidy must have close to 200 yards.
And I'll tell you what, he's worked for all of them.
He surely has. By the way, our congratulations to Joey Ross from the Bishop Walsh Spartans for being named Player of the Week last week and his 149 yards gained against the Bell Mountaineers.
I'll tell you, that was a game we did, Chuck, and it was another game that was just totally dominated by one team. Bishop Walsh came out. I think what they threw maybe 2 or 3 passes the whole night. They just controlled one pass. They controlled the ball the whole night, just like basically Allegany's doing tonight.
You control the line of scrimmage. The touchdown that Jefferson scored was on a fumble recovery and run back. So actually the defense has really played tough once again. So Wolford gets backed up 5 yards on the illegal procedure call, and he again will attempt the extra point.
This is no problem for the big bear from Crescent Drive.
Bad snap, and Miller's looking for Rickard.
He got him deep in the end zone.
And can't get it.
There again, just heads up play though, recognizing right away that it was a bad snap. Of course, you got a call you make. They yell out some name like
name or
Rush
number
or Neighbor or
yeah.
Thrash.
So with 1:52 remaining, it's Allegheny 47 and Jefferson 7 in the 3rd quarter. 1:52 remaining. We're going to take a quick timeout. This is City High School football on TCI's Channel 14. 9 yards. So I'll give him 8 yards. They had a 1-yard pickup on the previous play, so another 8 yards for Cassidy. It's 3rd down and 1. There he goes again. He'll have the first down this time as he's into about the 28. Another white jersey coming in, Ron Van Hoosier.
This is the kind of game, Chuck, when you're over here and got these white shirts on, you're probably out around behind the bench because you don't want the coach to even know you're still around. Probably not really interested in going in, but
So they mark it at the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Campers. Harper behind Mike Lout, but just not able to spring him loose. Mike threw a good block, but there's just too many white shirts over there.
too many there that time.
They're down near the 26-yard line. Pickup of a couple. 2nd down and 8. Barlow and Whitaker on the stop for the Cougars.
I'll tell you one thing, we've got to give a lot of credit to Barlow particularly.
Well, he's played a good game.
He has. He's been one of the kind of shining stars in the white uniforms tonight because he's done just a great job.
Harper, a wing on the right side. Cassidy, and he just pushes his way for about 4.
I'll tell you that I don't know. I don't even know how they're running out there because you and I tried to walk across there.
We had trouble. Each week in and week out, I'm just thoroughly impressed with the overall performance of this entire ball club.
And I don't see Chuck anymore. I don't see me sprinkling the rain now, so maybe it has stopped. But little differences are going to make in this ball game with Allegheny a 47-7 lead, 8:18 to go.
Cassidy gets down near the 20-yard line.
Cassidy about got his head taken off that time.
So that'll bring up a 4th down and a long 3 for the Campers.
I don't think you'll see a punt.
Now the nose of the ball is almost at the 20-yard line. Beachy, a wing on the left side.
Cougars have beat up that inside a little bit now and maybe trying to stop
Now
it.
here comes Harper. Is he going to get it out? I don't think he's going to make that first down.
He's very close.
He's going to be close, but I don't think he'll get it.
He kept,
We'll see.
it depends on the mark again, but he kept twisting and turning, but
No, he does not. Bill Powell, referee, says they lost it on downs, and the Cougars will get it.
I'll tell you what, that's only only the first 4th down play they've had to run, Chuck.
I believe you're right.
Matter to be a punt or a attempt
Well,
to
they
pick
haven't
up.
punted yet.
They haven't punted.
So they're going to mark it at the 18-yard line. 7 minutes and 20-odd seconds remaining in this ball game. Allegheny 47, Jefferson 7. Now Runyon gonna put it up. He's got Jet open here underneath, and he's slowed down somewhat by.
I'll tell you, one-handed
Ricker.
grab by Ricker got him turned around and slowed him up enough so he could got a little bit of help.
So the gain is about 10.5 yards. 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Yeah, we've been kind of commenting all night long. You know, why don't you have Jet in the game more? Of course, now he's been in here in the second half, but you know, I guess in praise a little bit, he's in the game, but with Allegheny's defensive surge, he's been kind of taken away because they just have not had time to throw him the ball.
There's a quarterback keeper, and Runyon will cross to about the 32, maybe the 33-yard line.
70, Earl Emmerich in on the tackle. Also in the game, 75 on the tackle, Lance Lawrence that time.
Okay, let's see if we can pick up who is actually in there. We got number 43, Barrick. Number 70 is Emmerich. Number 55, Riggleman. 60, Klein. 75 is Lance Lawyer. Is that who's on the defensive left end? Is that Cassidy?
Yeah, 33.
Okay. Klein and Stevens, the linebackers. And there's the pitch coming back to the tailback. Well, that's number 40, Craig Hunter.
He got the first down and right at about the 30, 40-yard line. Miller on the stop.
Yeah, about the 39 are going to mark it. So in the backfield are Harper and Miller and Keys and Ricker.
We got all fives on the board, 5:55 to go in the game.
So 1st and 10 for the Cougars from the Allegheny 39. No, pardon me, the Cougar 39. Bradford will split out wide to the right side with Jet in the slot on the right side as he comes back in motion to the near side. There's that pick out to Bradford. He catches it, but short yardage. It's about the 41, maybe 42-yard line.
I tell you, he made a great effort just to catch it. Of course, he didn't catch it until he was on the ground, so the ball's dead right there. Ball's a little bit high, and he had to go up and just kind of knock it up in the air so he could catch it.
Well, they gave him a lot of cushion over there. Nobody was up really that close to him. Of course, in this kind of field, it's kind of hard to play that tight man for man.
There is no bump and run in this game. I'm afraid it would be bump and gone.
So Jet will split out wide to the right side. There's the pitch to the tailback, and Miller
coming up, and he ran about 35 yards, but only picked up about 2.
So again, that's number 40, Craig Hunter, 5'10", 160-pound junior. 3rd down and 6.
One of the Cougars coaches before the game, we were talking to him a little bit, and he said, "Want to know if this game was going to be televised?" And I said, "Yeah, it'll be on tonight." Dave Merle's mother was standing there beside me. She says, "Why don't you all get a motel room and stay tonight and watch the game?" But I don't believe that they would
want to
do that.
Going deep, way overshot.
I tell you, the thing that came out the worst that time were those 2 kids right there.
Right
for
there. I
Allegheny.
think it's Jeff Keys and Brian Harper.
Ran right into each other, trying to make a defensive play, and they just didn't see one another. And
Keys is down. And checking in is number 82, Fernando Wallace. I hope Keys nothing more than maybe just a wind knocked
wind
out.
knocked out of him. That's what we were hoping to happen to him.
As it looked like Harper's helmet went right in his
stomach.
So.
While we got a little opportunity here, we would like to remind our people that some of the sponsors of the games tonight, if you have an opportunity to patronize them, just tell them how much you appreciate being able to watch the area high school football games on TCI, Channel 14, and some of the sponsors include Roy Rogers Family Restaurant, Queen City Drive, and also in the Country Club Mall. Just stop by before or after the game for a delicious hamburger, roast beef, or a great tasting chicken. And also one of the sponsors is Hartley's Pizza. Great pizza, sandwiches, wedgies, and much more. 3 locations to serve you: Lafayette Avenue, Williams Street, and National Highway in LaVale. And also we'd like to take this opportunity to invite you, the fans, that if you've got any suggestions, any complaints, or anything at all to say about the broadcast, feel free to write to TCI. Send your letters to TCI Sports Department in care of Kathy LaGrotta, and let us know what you think, good, bad, or indifferent. We'd just like to hear your comment. Appreciate the letters that we have gotten. Some suggestions from fans, things they'd like to see, or some changes they would like to see made, and we appreciate those. So feel free, and the only thing we ask you is just sign your name.
So Chrisman in punt formation, Brian Miller and Greg Harper back deep for the Campers. High kick straight up in the air. Harper signaled for the fair catch and dropped it, but falls back to recover it.
And he went a crawling after it too.
Now that's twice tonight that Greg has not handled it.
I'll tell you,
But the ball's wet.
You don't usually have to look up that long at the ball, because that ball was kicked up where we're standing. It was over the lights, so
It
really got
was
height.
high. So the Campers from their own 28-yard line. And we have 4 minutes, 18 seconds and counting left in this ball game. It's Allegheny Campers 47, the Jefferson Cougars 7.
I'll tell you, Chuck, knowing the makeup of the Allegheny team and the coaching staff, 4 minutes to go, 47-7. They right now are just starting to relax a little bit.
There's Darren Beachy, the ball carrier, and Darren gets about 9 yards.
Because this was a real key game for them. We pointed out, I think, before the game, it's a great game as far as a point standpoint for them. They're going to pick up a lot of points because, of course, Jefferson is a quad A or a 4A in Maryland standards, but plus the fact that they remembered the game last year, and really they came away from that game totally humiliated.
So a couple new numbers in the lineup. We'll try to figure out for you. Rodney Joyner is one of them. And Beachy, the ball carrier, he gets the first down. So we got Fernando Wallace in the ball game. We got Rodney Joyner in the ball game. Mike Lauk, Marshall Oates, Pfeiffer, Barrick, as
Scott
Rickard
Tunis,
and
83.
and Cassidy leave the lineup. So we got 83 in there. Coons. I hope we're pronouncing his name right. And what is this?
Brian Robinette, 23.
23. Coons, the ball carrier, to the 46-yard line. So it's Coons, Robinette, and Beachy in the backfield.
Not too often you see a number 83 coming out of the fullback slot.
Yeah, we saw him a couple weeks ago. He ran the ball a good bit in the
Yeah, he
third
did.
and fourth quarter in that in the
Bishop
Bishop
Walsh.
Walsh game. So he picks up 4, second down and 6.
Marshall Oates going off the side of the field, and he just played a super game.
He's that number 72 in there, Jeff Campbell. There's Bauer on a keeper, and has first down yardage to the 45. I don't know if he missed a handoff or if that was a design play. I'm not really sure.
I don't think it was designed, but I'm sure the coaches are going to look at it and say, hey, not bad call, not bad call. Anytime you pick up 8 or 9 yards, they're looking to put that in their playbook.
But then, you also don't want to take a chance on, Brian Miller checks in at quarterback now, replacing Scott Bauer, who had another excellent evening for the Campers.
We know really the intensity level doesn't drop much when Miller comes in the game.
Derek Eisentraut is in at center for the Campers.
First thing you got to worry about is that first snap.
And there's Miller. He gets about 6 yards. We saw him also in a quarterback sneak go over about 27 yards in that BW game.
He told me, he said that plays in his playbook. Toby might call a play, but against Bishop Walsh, he ran one for about 34 yards for a touchdown. So he said, if I'm in, I'm going to throw it in myself. I'm going to call my own number. He didn't say that. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's not a bad idea on the first snap, Just,
make sure you get the ball.
Right. So
We got a new
we
center.
got number 84, Sean Day. Beachy, the ball carrier, and Darren gets a first down inside the 35.
Out there, and
So we got 63 in the ball game. Joyner, 72 is in there. Campbell, 62. Pfeiffer. There comes 88 in the ball game. Scoopus.
they're out there in Lake Greenway right now.
Now, I hope we caught everybody. You mentioned Derek Eisentraut. He is in now at center.
I think the only people who haven't been in the game are the ones that weren't planning to be in the game to start with. But I know there's 2 of her who just love to be in there, and that's
Sly Logston.
Sly Logston, and of course Thad.
So Coons, he stays inbound. No, that's Robinette.
We're at 56, and the clock should be running, and it is. 56 seconds to go, so it looks like it's going to end up Allegheny 47, Chuck. Jefferson 7, and actually that was a gift.
It's a big win for the Campers. There's Sean Day back in here once again. You know, we're trying to make sure that we get all these guys' numbers. If we miss somebody, we're extremely sorry.
Sean Day Scoopus, you got them. 72.
Jeff Campbell.
Jeff Campbell.
I'm saying Derek Eisentrout, mentioned him. I think we've accounted for everybody. There's Cohen's the ball carrier, and he'll get about 3. As we're down to 15 seconds of counting, they actually don't have to run another play if they don't want to.
85, Jimmy Spees coming in.
3, 2, 1. This ball game is over. The Allegheny Campers go to 7-0 as they defeat the Jefferson County Cougars 47-7. This is City High School football on TCI's Channel 14.
Albright Heating and Air Conditioning can help you stay warm.
These football teams points in the race for Division I in Class AA in the state of Maryland as they defeat the Cougars 47-7, Mark, and it really was a domination by the Campers.
Well, we said at the outset, I said one key to this game, after talking to Toby Eric down on the sidelines, and he said the key to the game is, can our kids get up and can we get in a mental attitude to play in this ball game? And that's exactly what they did. They had a lot of a good practice this week. They had a late week adversity, as we mentioned, with the death of a very dear friend of the whole football team, and they didn't know how that was going to affect the kids tonight. They just, of course, it happened yesterday. They just didn't know. They said, we got to come out and see what their intensity level is going to be, and they came out, and I think with that on their mind and what happened to them last year, Chuck put together just a super effort.
Well, they certainly did. So quickly, let's just recap the scoring. At the 8:57 mark, Cassidy on a 2-yard run made it 6-0, Wolford's kick, and it was 7-0. Then on a 52-yard drive, Bauer on a quarterback keeper from 2 yards out at the 3:46 mark. Wolford's kick was no good. It was 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, Terry Ashby on a 1-yard run at the 7:13 mark, and then Greg Harper on a 2-yard run for the 2-point conversion, and it was 21-0. Then at the 5:05 mark, Brian Miller on a 61-yard reception of a pass from Scott Bauer, and it was 27-0. Wolford's attempt for the extra point was no good. It was still 27-0. Then at the 4:11 mark, Miller on an end around from 9 yards out goes in for the touchdown, and Wolford kicked the extra point. It was 34-0 at halftime. In the third period, the Campers were on a drive. The ball was fumbled by Ashby, recovered by Peyton, and unofficially we have him credited with a 74-yard fumble recovery. That was at 9:43. The kick by Bound made it 34-7. Then on the ensuing kickoff, Brian Miller from 77 yards out picked up a ball that had fallen into the mud and the water area out there and ran it 77 yards for a touchdown. Wolford kicked the extra point. It was 41-7. Then Cassidy on a 6-yard run culminated the scoring in the ball game at the 1:52 mark at the end of the third quarter. Then it was 47-7, and that's the way the final score wound up.
Total domination, as you pointed out, both the scoring and statistically by Allegheny. And like I said, it's just one of those games that they came out. They didn't do anything real flashy. They did things that they've done all year long. The weather was not a factor, and the field was not a factor to them.
No, there were 5 turnovers in the ball game, but and 3 of them resulted in touchdowns. But it was just an awesome display once again of the Allegheny Campers, the #1 ranked team in the area and #1 ranked in Region 1. So for our production crew, Dave Mawhinney on camera, Jim Corley has been our director. So for Mark Widmeyer, this is Chuck Lehman saying so long from Greenway Avenue Stadium. The final score, Allegheny 47 and Jefferson 7. We will be back here Saturday evening for the Fort Hill Sentinels.
Area.